everyone. This is Thomas Pepin NHL Talk. I'm Thomas Pepin, and let's play some NHL. So we are on Season 7, Episode 2, where I've taken over the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're part way through the season, 14 games, and things are going mediocre, probably as normal, I guess is a good way to describe it. It never seems like we have good starts to the season, and funny enough, I don't know if it's really funny, but that's how I came up with the title for this stream, because it seems like we're always slow out of the gate. So anyways, just to recap, last episode we traded away two of our fourth liners, Beauvillier and Karlsson. And we're going to leave it as is because like I said before, we have our depth guys are McLeod, Sissons, Leeson. Pajot's the one guy we kept from the fourth line, and we have one injury, which is why he's on the third. So our team's good enough with without those two players. And so we're not in like a major rush. And I think it's actually not a bad idea as well to test out all these players, because usually I would do that in the preseason, but I was playing the rookie guys to give them experience before we send them down to junior. I don't know if it makes any difference, but you would think that it does. And then, so there wasn't really space for them to play unless I really played around with the lines, and it takes too long, so it just wasn't worth it. So anyways, so now we get to test these guys, see how they do, probably for something like 10 games, and then we might trade for some depth guys. So the fourth liners to replace the two guys that we got rid of, basically. So that's probably in the cards for this stream. I would assume, even if these guys do well, in all likelihood, I'm going to pick up at least at least two guys. And the reason is because if we have, let's say, 3 injuries on forwards, we need to have 3 guys that are capable of coming up to the third line. So anyway, so that's the story here, and we can get moving now. So let's do that. And that injury, he's coming back soon. And yeah, last stream we discovered that he's played well, which is good news. So it doesn't look like we're going to need to make too many crazy trades. Vrana is an exception. We might trade him. He's kind of picked up his performance lately, so he might not be... Who is the starting goalie right now? The rotation is... So it has to be Nolan, because he's top of the rotation. Yeah. But yeah, so anyways, we might trade Vrana depending on how he pans out, because he doesn't really fit that well either, just on multiple lines. And we wouldn't have known that because we have a new coach, as I mentioned before, this season. And I wasn't sure how he would fit, and we didn't have enough scouting to know, or it seemed as though we didn't have enough scouting to know if who fits with our team and stuff. So weaker than normal. Sure. What was I saying now? Too many distractions. Yeah, we didn't know the fits of players, basically. I'm pretty sure that was the home game. And see how this string of, well, last 10 is a good way to look at it. So 8, 1, and 1. So I think everything's okay. It always seems like there's a slow start. I feel like the game does that to you on purpose, to maybe make you make big moves, or to make it so that you're not doing like consistent seasons like the Boston Bruins just had. Like, I mean, we've had similar seasons, but yeah, I feel like it's something with the game. Or it's that my team's young. Like, I don't know. The thing, like I've said before, I haven't owned this game since the 2014 game. So, should I do this by twos? I should write these down, actually. So that was 9, 5, 5, 94. Oh, wait, I don't need to save right now. I have to do the rest of this stuff first. And it's a back-to-back, so I'm supposed to check who plays with who. So New Jersey, I think, is the weaker team right now this season. 8 and 10, 11 and 4, yeah. So if you haven't seen before, it's always the lesser goalie or the goalie lower in the rotation that plays the harder team, and then the higher goalie in the rotation against the weaker team, and it's to get points in the bag. So rather than try to get points on both games, you try to guarantee them on the weaker team and then hope for the best with the harder team, rather than potentially lose both. So nice. That was away. Oh shoot, I forgot to put Gomez back in the lineup. Some daisies. It's tempting to go back and undo that game, but it's okay. Okay, so he's doing a lot better now. Who's done the work? 3 points in 7 games plus 5. That's quite good. 3 points in 9 games. 3 and 7, 3 and 9 plus 3. 2 points plus 5 and 4. And he had a whole bunch of penalty minutes in the AHL, and he has none so far. Oh, what do we do here? Because they're all basically the exact same overall. What's the difference? Actually, you know what? What's the line? So they're supposed to be blocking shots. Dump, cycle, balance, block. Maybe we'll just go by line fit. So I think McLeod. Oh wait, no, it's Sissons that doesn't. So we'll put Pajot back. How did he? 5 points and 15 is not bad. Balance, shoot. So Sissons out, I guess. I mean, nobody really deserves to be put out. So he's done great since he's played. What's his face-offs? Oops. 81 versus... Oh yeah, he's not good at face-offs. So Courtnall, Gomez. Let's just double check about Kucherov's picked up. Hughes 2. I think Ollie's been about the same. Courtnall's doing great. He stays 12 and 17. That's good, but is Verana better? $12 versus 13. So then here, I think it's going to be line fit basically. It looks like Verana's going to play. I guess so. Looks good. Since we're already doing changes, let's see how everybody else is doing. 10 points is quite good. 11's even better. 6, 2, 3. So this young guy's doing well. All things considered. Happy with that. So no major changes. Now I got to remember how the power play is supposed to be, because I don't think I switched anybody off of the second power play. Courtnall. Or did I? I know the first one we did. But who was it? What does it go down to here? So on Ferguson comes out, Gomez is in. Gomez is the shooter. Courtnall is setup guy, so that's correct. That means who's on the third von Fersen? Martins Nichushkin. First, Martins Nichushkin. Coronel goes there. This is tough. Because Gomez should continue through. Gomez, Cardinal. I think this is the way I had it before. So Gomez goes here. He shoots right. And this condenses, to exactly as it sits. And Martins is the odd man out. I think this is right. Left shot. Fours, fives. So maybe what we should do Ollie's the shooter there, Ollie's the shooter there. Martins. Yeah, because if Ollie's the shooter, so it was Kucherov, he's got 5 goals, Ollie's got 7, so that's actually correct. Martins has more goals than, or well, he has the same amount of goals as Kucherov. And then also this translates down into the way on the 4-man power play. So I think that's right. Gomez doesn't play any of those. Extra lines is going to be Hughes, Kucherov, Cordnell. No, we're going to change that. So Hughes, Ollie, Cordnell, Gomez, on first and Nichushkin. I think that's good. Oh, but Kucherov's not playing then. Nichushkin, Kucherov, I guess. Cordnell. Whoops. Gomez. $11 or $13. Guess we'll go with that. Also, it gives the D some rest. And then here it's Von Fersen, Chushkin, 10. Do we go with? I guess so, yeah. Again, same principle as give the D some rest. And here, Hughes, Kucherov, Ollie. Gomez, and then I think Nichushkin would be next up, something like that. And game 2 is Pessinen. I think that's all sorted. Nine 0-1. We're back in it. Not bad, I'd say. Not bad. Cool. funny that our young goalies have actually played quite well. Pretty impressive. 8 wins in 10 games, 9-3-7. Like, that's unheard of for any of the goalies we've had. We've had guys that have been like 9-2. I mean, we're really early in the season, but yeah, 9-3-7 still at this point is quite good. And he had a good save percentage even when we were losing, so. And he stepped up his game. Not that his save percentage was bad, because I think he was 9-1-5. Had a couple losses, but now he's got some wins too. Pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. We're almost at 20 games. So after the back-to-back, we'll do the scouting. And maybe consider depth guys at that point. Because the thing is I'm pretty sure it's the case, and the last time I checked it was. Our depth guys that we have at this moment are pretty darn good. Everybody's doing great, so I don't actually need to do anything. It's just my concern is if, let's say, for example, in the Stanley Cup final, we have one sec here. Yeah, if in the Stanley Cup final we have like 3 injuries to forwards, we're going to be in rough shape. With defense, you can never really do too much about depth, except have something reasonable in the AHL, but forwards you can by the fourth line, so because there's just so many players that play forward. So, are we on the back-to-back? I think we are. Yeah. So because you have a fourth line, basically, and they don't play, it's kind of like an extra so you have like your 13th forward, it's like storing them in your fourth line because the fourth line doesn't play much, if you get what I mean. Which most people, well, nobody's talking right now, so nobody can confirm, but I'm pretty sure it's obvious what I mean. Okay, so the first team looks like it's the weaker one. So then Nolan stays in net. Hey. Another win. I really do wonder if going the offensive route as we have, if we're actually going to play better. And if it's true that we turn out playing better, I'm going to be super lucky the fact that I've locked up this head coach for 8 years. We're going to be like a really good team for a really long time. Okay. How bad does it impact you? Hand eye is not critical, wrist shot power not critical, deking not really critical, slap shot power no. Puck control kind of. Face offs no. We can get away with not the best of puck control. We just have to cross our fingers that the injury doesn't get worse from playing. And on that note, I don't actually know if the game does that, if it has that effect. Like, so if you play a playable injury, does it risk greater injury? Because I could have sworn in the past that it did, but I don't know for sure. No big deal. We've got 3 goalies. And this is the thing about, we have depth in every respect. So at this moment, not with the 4th line, but generally speaking, in terms of my strategy, we almost always have super depth. We have 3 goalies. We have super depth for forwards. Defense is maybe always going to be our weakness in having good guys in the AHL, but generally speaking, we're fine. Look at this record, 14-5-2. From such a bad start. Well, I mean, again, it wasn't the worst start, but from a not so good start, we've completely turned it around. Okay, so that was away. Nolan stays in. Stupid thing. Shouldn't be any injuries except him. We'll save. One thing so we have to do scouting now. We're going to consider the depth moves, picking up some guys. And one thing I want to see is, do we know about the first overall pick yet? We do. So he's just elite, so that means we're not keeping our first pick. We're going to move it over to the next season. We won't do it yet, necessarily, but we might. So Seattle did good last season, though. I should have went the other direction. 12-9-1. What do we do? They should be a bad team. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. I'm going to wait it out. I want to see if they go south, because they really should be a bad team. In which case, then the draft pick has good value, and we trade it when it has good value to then get a good value pick, or at least hopefully get a good value pick next season. So, okay. So we need to do scouting. I want skills. And I just realized I completely forgot to address this, that I was half an hour late. So, as always, if you don't see me when I'm supposed to be there, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, take a look at the About section and it should give you an updated time, or I might be canceling it. So, just keep that in mind. So I got held up with something, so I couldn't get to the stream. Wait, was that East? Another thing, I don't know if I addressed this. So, yeah, so something I wasn't sure about with the settings for franchise mode. So, sorry, it's tough to do this at the same time. By making the setting for prospect quality, I think is what it's called. I wasn't sure if by putting it medium, well, whatever it is, medium, I think is what it's, because there's like low, medium, high or something like that. I wasn't sure if by choosing medium you would just never get franchise guys, and you do get franchise guys having it at the medium setting. So, so I like that, the fact that it's not super frequent that you get franchise players, because you shouldn't get it that frequently, because in real life you don't. So yeah, and I think then, so it happened in the first season, we had 2 franchise guys, and then in the what season are we on now? We're on 7th, so on the 6th. So the fact that it took that long for me is perfectly good, because really you don't get like a super elite talent more than once every 3 years, but once every 5 is probably pretty accurate. So like a generational talent is what a franchise player is supposed to be. So, or what I would argue it's supposed to be. So yeah, once every 5 years seems fair. And I don't know if it's going to do it more often or not. We'll see as we keep going through. And yeah, if it hovers around once every 3 to 5 years, then it's pretty accurate. Or I would argue pretty accurate. All right, so we'll save there, and then I'm going to go consider trades. And the thing is, because it's not necessary, I think I'm only going to do it if I don't know. Maybe it is necessary, but what I was going to say is I'm going to target guys where it's not going to cost me too much in assets, because otherwise I just don't know if it's going to be really worth it. In terms of cap space, to be honest, we can afford almost anything that we would want. On that note, maybe I should just target players that are low value because they're getting paid too much, but where they're still good players. So something like where they're getting paid $5 million, but they're like, they shouldn't be, or something like that. I don't know. So far nobody stands out. Yeah, it might have to be an 82 overall. I was hoping I'd have something, so like this is a pretty good example, but preferably lower trade value and higher overall. But so far it's not looking like that exists. And actually I wasn't thinking about, because I think I mentioned before about getting another prospect guy. I haven't quite considered it. So this is a great example. A bit low on the overall, but 5 million. Yeah, so not good enough. But yeah, I gotta think here strategically. Okay, because nobody stood out, so we need to consider here. So we currently have. So what I'm trying to consider right now, he's moved up in trade value, I think. Maybe not. So I'm thinking about what's going to be going out and what's coming back in. So for next season is what I'm referring to. So Hughes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 players for sure playing with us next season. And then I don't know if we're going to give Jutri another junior season. Because like as it is, he can play. Likewise for Bernier, but I want to keep those entry-level years until they're like overripe. Because then, for example, like hopefully their poise will be slightly higher, their overall will be slightly higher. So 7 means we need 2 players. But if we have those 2, then long term we already have enough players. Because basically we want 3 lines of great players. 4th line, just guys that can fill in on the 3rd line if there's injuries. So I think the answer then is no. We're not going to pick up a prospect. But I don't think I've analyzed what prospects are out there, though. So I should do that. How many years did what's-his-face have still? Pasternak? Because I was still debating on trying to get him back. See, I'd like to get this guy, but the problem is we don't know what he's going to want for his contract, and I don't want to get into where he's too expensive. Where was he picked in the end? He's a 5th overall pick. Somebody got a steal for him, I guess. Well, it seems like it was Detroit that drafted him. I didn't look, so I don't know for sure, but... So far we're not missing out on anybody too important. Because we need line fit and just features. Bottom 6. Is he a guy? Because we had a list of guys to consider. Guess he wasn't. So he's a professional, which means that he is probably reasonable for his contract negotiations. Poise, though, is quite low. He seems good, we just don't know his fit. Bottom 6. He's not bad. So that one Philadelphia guy is interesting. He's 18. He was just drafted. His line fit. He's got 3 years. It feels like a smart pickup. Problem is, he's been playing and he will have eaten up a year of his contract. Well, what did he play though? Because if he wasn't, he wouldn't qualify for junior, so then I like the idea of getting this guy. Because he fits for bottom 6, is what it said. And that's actually a pretty useful thing for us because we don't really have that, I think. I mean, actually, a lot of the guys fit on the third line, just not the second line's been trouble. Okay then. If we're gonna try to pick him up. Then what? We could get rid of Verena. Then that keeps us at our current depth. We don't want that. Is there anybody ready to be traded that has value? He hasn't played as great this season. I think he's probably getting... No, he's getting played about the same. How many years left? We signed him longer. Interesting. Vestalainen's ready to get traded. Gauthier as well. Anderson too. Back two. You guys don't want anybody else. So then, if you want picks, we'll give you picks. So this is where it's important to pay attention to contract status. So this guy, he has to play in the NHL after he's been drafted. Otherwise, he has nowhere else to go, and it doesn't make sense to play him in the AHL because he's good enough to play in the NHL. So, yeah, to have the guy is not a bad thing at this point. We missed some games of usage, but we needed to test things anyways. It just made sense. So I think that's probably going to be close to right. Try to get more back if we can. And this guy, and in all likelihood, we're going to have to overpay. I wouldn't be surprised. Because they don't want to trade him, and his trade value is pretty high. But as always, we're expected to lose on our trades because we have this on hard. And we make up for it by trading players that we sign. So already we're overpaying. Question is, how much are we going to have to overpay? Oh wait, it's going to have to be a 7. There goes all of the assets we accumulated. We're getting something good back though. Hopefully this goes through soon. I don't want it to get too crazy. I forget if I checked, I should check if there's any good goalie prospects too. Well, that's annoying. What do we do then? What do we do? Can't really trade anything else. I don't want to trade the first overall pick because we're hoping for that to increase in value. These other ones, like we couldn't package them to get a first overall pick to then trade because we're not going to have any other assets to really add in unless we start getting rid of these players, which was the plan anyways. So if we can package a few of these guys with a second and maybe get a first from someone, then package that first in that trade. Oh, I don't have enough space. Anybody with space want these? Yes. You're ideal too. Okay, so we should be able to make this work in some way. Then I think we'll be able to, oh, but you don't want the second picks. Let's see if we can get somebody that wants these guys and wants the second picks. Oops. Ah, you don't have the space. You don't have the space either. You do. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so how do we package this? For this, it's pretty close. Whoa, no. Let's try this first. I feel like we're not far off. Second for a third. Maybe we're further off than I was expecting. Okay, then. Florida's second. Okay. How else do we do this? Dope. Okay. Okay, so now we have this, which we can package. Well, I mean, really, this might even go just by itself. I doubt it. No, it won't. Okay. So we still have to... So before we deal with them, we need to trade whatever else we're going to trade. So, who was the other one? Anderson. Anybody else with value? Beck can go. Nordberg can go. Fleury's been good before, but not right now. Guess he can go. Hey, Aaron. Thanks for tuning in. Six points, so we won't trade him. Him neither. Him neither. Him yes. So who wants these guys? Anybody want any of the D guys? I guess not. Then who can take the most? These guys. So what can we get? Second pick, maybe, plus let's see if we can get 2 seconds. No, almost certainly not. So the second and the third, probably not. We'll try. Let's try. Okay, so if this won't go, what do we do? Let's try going this route. We don't know for sure that he's no good. No more for him. Sweet. Okay. That is good. Now next. Yeah, I think we maybe have enough to pull off that Philly trade, so we'll try again and see. Whoops, no, we don't want your first pick. We want this guy. first round pick. Second. We'll still go through the motions just in case. So I think with the draft picks we have, we should be able to pull off this trade. It'll be close, but I'm pretty sure. And then if not, we still have more guys to trade anyways, so do we have something else just enough maybe to make this work? No. Okay. Alright, so then that means we need to do more guys here. So who else needs to go? I think he's okay. Fine. I think we'll wait on this guy. He's only played 4 games. Seven. He can go. He definitely can go. 12 and 16. It's not bad. Oh, some people do want these guys. I'm surprised. Oh, he's unsigned too, so we can do a trade. So in this case, we're going to try to do an upgrade to the pick. Well, the guy's not signed though. I thought you could still take him. I guess not. Huh. In this case, you can. Weird, but I won't ask questions. This for sure wouldn't go through. So I guess we'll break it up. Third, the fifth maybe. Doubt it. Okay, so then we'll do fourth. Oh, you don't even have a fourth. Fourth and a fifth. Two fifths, maybe. Fifth and a sixth won't make any sense. So fifth and a seventh then. No, not Dallas's. I don't like this. How much is your second pick worth right now? Nashville. Buffalo. But you don't want second picks, so I shouldn't do that either. So I guess we'll just move up one pick. Yeah, didn't we have another guy? I thought we had Anderson still. Guess not. So 6 and this guy. For a 4th, will you take that? Okay. And a 4th and I think it was this guy, right? Does anybody want? Somebody does want him. For a 3rd. What? I guess they have a lot of player skaters. Yes. No. Jesus. Hey, there we go. Okay. So a 3rd and we give up more. I doubt it. Really? Surprised that wouldn't go through. Why doesn't it go through? We'll try it, I guess, one more time with somebody else. Okay, so I guess that's not an option. Pretty sure this won't go through after trying everything, but oh, and I still gotta check. Well, for one, I gotta check about the goalie prospects out there, and then second, I might be able to trade one of my goalies too. Let's see how you guys have done. 9-0 is very good. 8-9-7 is not the worst. Does anybody want him? No. So then let's try this. Forrest, Nelson, and Angle for third. Still no. And what else did we... We didn't have anything else to trade. So because we don't have anything else to trade right now, then we should get more assets, wait another 10 games, trade away the bad assets. So it's going to have to be delayed, I guess, a little bit. By the trade deadline, because of trading away assets, I would be surprised if we're not able to pull off that trade with Philly. So that's one guy we'll have. And then we might just go with everything else we have. The other thing, there's Brana we can trade, Kucherov we could trade, but I think he's probably better keeping with our team. Sucks that we can't get that player right now, though, because he'd fit in perfect, I think. Okay. So in that case, we need to sign people. Who do we sign? Let's go with this guy. And the reason is hopefully these guys have good trade value because they're potential. And same. Oh, this guy. We can't do any goalies. No. How many players do we need? I should check that too. Defense 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's enough D. So then, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, we need all forwards. Huh. So right now what I'm trying to do is get guys I think will have good trade value. So where they've had good past performance and then their role, I think, so I haven't quite paid enough attention to what determines their trade value. So I know obviously higher potential and age and all this stuff, but I have a feeling it's role. So with the limited information that you get from this, it's probably overall role and potential. I'm guessing, but I don't know with certainty here. Wow, he had good performance. I should be filtering by two-way, but I think all of them are two-way. Any other guys? Him. Isn't John Gruden the name of some football guy? Is it like a coach or something? I don't know my football that well. Wow, those are really good numbers. Pretty good. Actually, this... Oh, I was going to say this looks like the right amount, but it actually looks like I'm going to run out of space. So I only have one more spot, really. Okay then, let's go with this guy. Okay. So after we have to trade all the rest of the guys, I would be surprised if we don't have enough to get that Philly guy. It'll be close still, and we still got a while. And it looks like we're going to do this at 10 game increments rather than 20 as I was doing before, just to get things through quicker. Now, I might actually change to that permanently, 10 game increments, but we'll see. Okay, so... Oh, and another thing I could be doing with timing is when I know I'm going to be doing trading, I could be offering the contract so that they... Oh, wait, no, it will work just with days between games. But anyways, just the concept kind of makes sense. So where you trade the guys the day before the new guys are signed. So it actually kind of lines up almost right anyways. Okay, so I think that's all good. I forget if I just saved this, but I meant to. cool. And I also forgot, we have that thing, thankfully it reminds me every season that December 1, all the guys that aren't signed get released. So I should have left spots available for that, but I mean, in all likelihood, they won't get signed before I need to make the trades anyways, so we should be okay. 7, 3, 3, 2. Well, that's pretty long. Must have been a bad concussion then. See, and great example, I know I've already said it, but why you want 2 goalies, or sorry, it's 3 goalies, so that you always have 2 goalies left. Ideally, you'd want even a fourth guy, basically an entry-level guy that can come up to the NHL, but for me, if they're good enough to play in the AHL, if they're good enough to play as a fourth string in the NHL, I don't really want them in the AHL just for development, I think. I'll go forward a D. So that's 2 losses in a row for Nolan, so he comes out. Thompson hasn't played well so far, but this gives him an opportunity. He's played very well with us previously, so it's good to give him a shot. We'll save, and then I'm going to check out the RFA guys that I spoke of that just would have become available. Let's see. So it doesn't look like anything too important because they would have showed up there. And same here. And on that note, since I just reminded myself from looking at goalies there, if there's any goalie prospects. I think I checked this a while ago, but I want to double check. So anyone like 80 something, and like under 22, I don't think it's going to exist. Yeah, because didn't we start? Yeah, we started the season with getting Pepin, so I don't think we wouldn't have missed them. But just out of interest, to double check. Who is that guy? Yeah, his poise isn't good enough. That's it. Okay, so we're ready to go. Thompson gets the shutout. That was away, I believe. See, it's such a luxury to have a third goalie. So that guy's, well, I think in total he would be injured for a month, and we have no concerns whatsoever. I mean, if we have a second goalie get injured, that'd be, not optimal. But in all likelihood, even with two goalies injured, you're probably going to have the starter be able to manage until one of the two guys is healthy, in which case then you rotate two goalies. So it would have to be like a crazy worst case scenario for the three goalie strategy not to be sufficient. Okay, so we have back to back, which means we do the same thing as usual. So game 2 is going to be Nolan, even though Nolan's been the best goalie so far this season. We need to do the other stuff first. We're going to have, it looks like, a whole bunch of maintenance to do all at once. Oh, that one doesn't go up. It goes down. We'll try by 1. That's good. No new injuries. And I said Thompson game 1, Nolan game 2, I think. Yeah. Cool beans. Geez, what happened with this one? Try that, I guess. 274, I guess, is the optimized price for that one. This one can still go. That one too. Then Nolan plays this game. So I do have auto rotate goalies on. And I said before, the reason we do that is even though I do it manually, it's because if you have it off, the AHL goalies never get rotated, then it just doesn't make sense for realism. So always keep it on, and then if you're going to do it, you have to do it manually. Nice. Back-to-back wins on back-to-back games. What happened here? It like went to half the volume of sales when we increased it by $2. Doesn't make sense. Let's go in between. So now Thompson goes back in. How many games are we at? So after this back-to-back, we'll do more trades probably. And who's the better team? I think it's definitely Colorado because we saw it New York before. Yeah. So then Nolan game 1, Thompson game 2. We've been pretty healthy for a bit, which is good. Actually, the whole season's been not too crazy. And I said Nolan game 1. Stupid thing. Nolan in his backup role is doing pretty good. But I mean, like I said before, they're pretty much all starters. Low-end starters, but starters nonetheless. That's the first loss since Thompson's been starter. We will save, and before I sim through the off days, I'm gonna take a look at trades here. Okay, so how have things gone? Look at how much cap space we have. Almost 7 million. Crazy. Okay, so we want, not that, we want this. Hasn't played. Undetermined. Hasn't played. Why haven't these guys played? He's going. I think it's because there hasn't been any roster moves, so the game hasn't automatically changed the lines, which is stupid because they're supposed to be getting managed, but I guess not. So much for those 10 games of tracking these guys. Nobody's played. That's okay, because there's going to be enough guys to trade anyways. And if we're doing this every 10 games, then... wait. This guy's still not determined. Yeah, if we do things every 10 games, then even though we miss that, it's no big deal. So he's gone stagnant. But yeah, these guys have been playing. I should check how they're doing. 3 points. So he hasn't gotten any more points since he's stayed in. So maybe we'll put Sissons in. Phillips got better again. He's doing good. How's that backup doing? He's gotten better. How many years do you have left? We don't get rid of you. So I guess just these guys. Does anybody want that Olsen guy? Guess not. So we want a second pick, probably, is what we're going to target. So 3 spots available on a team not playing that great. And where they want these guys. So nobody meets that criteria. Oh. Yeah. Okay, can we get a second pick? Maybe Boston. Boston it is. Can we get a second? Not yet, I doubt. So, where's that other guy? It was Olsen, I believe. Yeah. Too many players? Okay, so then I guess that won't work. What else do we do? Wait, let's try dork. Cool. Where's this guy? Nobody wants him, so what can I get? Can I get maybe a fifth? Not even a seventh? Surprised about that. Wait, let's first try Edmonton. Okay, so I guess a seventh. Cool. Both those were away games, right? So Thompson lost? Yeah, Thompson lost one game. All right, so It's come to the end of the stream. So we're just going to do a quick recap here, or I guess maybe just to look at where we sit. So I think we're, if I had to take a guess, first in the league, but I don't know for sure. We are, in fact, first in the league by already a pretty decent margin. So we've got 3 games in hand over second place. Plus, we're 3 points ahead. And then we've got 4 points ahead with a game in hand against third, both of the third teams. And if this team had 2 wins, that would put them at 42. So we're still a point ahead against any team, which is really good. Quite impressive. And then look at our goal differential. This might be the best goal differential we've had. Pretty close if it isn't. 1.2 goals per game is a lot. 1 goal is a lot. But 1.2 is very, very high. Power play, whoa. I think that's the best we've ever had. So I think maybe this offensive coach and as a result offensive style of play, I think it's improved our team. Again, we need to know in a larger sample size, but already really good. Penalty kill, we are, I guess, middle of the pack. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, so what's the opposite? 13th would be 19th, if my math is right. So 19th in the league for penalty kills. So maybe we should change that slightly. But we don't have optimal players to play on the penalty kill anyways. Like, we really are structured for power play and even strength. So maybe that guy that we're trying to get from Philly, I don't know if he's defensive enough, though. I doubt it, actually. Because he's a rookie on top of it. So I very seriously doubt that he's good defensively. I think it's just line fit in the end. Yeah, it's not a standout. So, yeah. So I don't think there's really a way to fix our penalty kill other than, changing the pairings where they're not consistently with the same players. I don't know if I like that. It's not something I would do. I'd rather, even though it's a video game, the more you keep players that are familiar with each other together, I think it would be more realistic in real life, so I'm just doing it in the game anyways. And funny enough, off topic, Hughes is back to our points leader, and he has been pretty much since he's been with us. What else to consider? Not really much else, I don't think. On the note of player performance, let's just quickly have a look. Because we're 30 games in. So what is that? Over a third, whatever that turns out being for math. Ollie's actually still done great. That's very good. Point per game, we just extended him too. And he's developed into a franchise player from Elite. So that's very good news. He's, I guess, our goal leader. So we haven't scored on a per player basis as much as past seasons, but nonetheless, we have a good goal differential. So I don't know exactly how that makes sense. But if you look at all this goal scoring, it's really, really spread out. So we might have like 10 players with 20 plus goals. It almost looks like that. Kucherov's still really good. Courtnall's slipped a bit. Nichushkin and Varane has kind of slipped a bit too. So at the moment, Nichushkin deserves to come up to the second line. Gomez has slipped too. So Von Fersen and Nichushkin might come up with Courtnall. And that means Verana might be on the chopping block. Gomez was kind of set up for the third line, but give me 1 second when I do this math. So 17 divided by 26 is 0.65. And then 21 divided by 30 equals 0.7. So Nichushkin is better. Von Fersen is not. So then Courtnall, Nichushkin, Gomez. Problem is Verana can't really go to the third. I mean, he could, but it's not really a good fit there. So maybe what we turn out doing next stream is trade Verana in that trade for the Philly guy. Wonder if they want Verana. Whoops. They don't. I don't know. It's tough. I feel like I should be trading Verana, but I don't know because his fit's not that great. So yeah, he hasn't played recently. Still good save percentage, even though he's lost a couple of games. 2. A couple is actually accurate. He's got OT losses there. 12-2 and 2. 9-3-3. What a stellar goalie. We have him locked up for still 7 years. It's nuts. And then Thompson's turned it around with winning. Save percentage not so much, but he was really behind on save percentage too. So 905 is good enough. I'm okay with that. So I think a big reason for our goal differential is actually goaltending. So it's not that we've scored more, our goaltending's been better. Because that's the only explanation right now. Our goals per player aren't that high. It's very spread out, so maybe that's partially the reason. But yeah, pretty impressive. One last thing, actually, just because I remembered now. We were going to make that change for Leeson, I believe. 3 points, 7 points. So Leeson's going to switch with Sissons. That's it. There's nothing else to do. Okay, so I just got to save and then that's it. So if you like the stream, hit the like button, share with your friends, subscribe, turn on notifications. Channel homepage has upcoming streams for regular NHL content. Nothing's scheduled at the moment, probably not for a couple weeks or a month. Just waiting for basically the last bit of off-season major stuff to happen. For things I can't schedule ahead of time, like franchise mode, that schedule's in the About section of the channel. I have a temporary schedule for basically a couple weeks. So if you want to know the schedule, check the About section of the channel. Should be 9 p.m. Eastern, unless I make a note about a delay to the stream, which I did for today's stream. So always check the About section of the channel for any changes there. Be a pros whenever I have time or feel like it. And any comments, leave them in the comments, suggestions likewise. And we will see you guys tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, bye.